there. Guys, thanks for showing up and giving half an hour to learn some things about video training, how video can be used maybe more smarter in business. We have a few guest speakers. One is Jen T, and she'll be speaking a little bit about what she sees from her perspective on how video is being used in business and the, I guess, the output that that's doing to even the bottom line, the confidence and the training around the business. Then we'll be speaking to Chuck, who is on the chat there. Chuck has a strong background in psychological safety, and he'll be speaking to us a little bit about what's happening with employers' obligations and actually what psychological safety is, but what employers are now needing to do to, make sure that a lot of these new things are addressed that probably we weren't talking about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And then we'll be speaking with Corey Radcliff, who will add a little bit of weight to what he sees from his perspective, from a legal standpoint, on how video can back up your business, improve training, improve communication, but also protect your business. So that's a pretty worthwhile discussions to have. Now, I'm just going to share a document with you. We'll come back to the top here. A little bit of housekeeping. This meeting is recorded, and parts of it will be used for social media. So any advice given today should not be acted on as legal advice for your specific company or situation. If you require legal advice, I highly recommend Corey, and same goes for all of the speakers that talk today. If you need something that's specific to your situation, please reach out to them. They're amazing people, and use this webinar to expand your network. So I guess the theme today is, can you use video as a way of consulting with your staff? And the reason why we'd want to do that is obvious. There's so much pressure on businesses at the moment to be everywhere to everyone and do all that nurturing that seems to be required and necessary now to keep the workplace on point and functioning smoothly. So I just jumped forward before, but we'll be speaking to Jen T and Chuck and then Corey. That's the flow of the webinar. Now, I just want to break down something quickly. What is a duty to consult? Now, straight from Safe Work New South Wales, which is also Safe Work Australia, it's written the same. But employers simply have a duty to consult with their workers over health and safety. Meaning, if you have staff and they cross the threshold of your business in the morning, they are then your responsibility to make sure they are nurtured, trained, and aware of anything that could go wrong in their workday. Now, that is a huge responsibility for employers. Something that if the catastrophic event happens and somebody was actually injured or fatally injured, there's been some huge movements with Safe Work Australia, but more so New South Wales, is that the Minns government has now introduced industrial manslaughter laws to New South Wales. They are almost national now, but what this means, that in the very simple sense, if you're a business owner and you're not meeting your duty to consult and something goes wrong, you'll have a very hard time demonstrating that you've done all you can to keep your people safe. Now, there's a lot of pressure and stress on businesses and in the whole environment at the moment. So what we're looking today at, how can we use video to actually offer more consultation, support staff better, do more nurturing, show up in more places, but not have to put the pressure or the financial pressure on businesses where they have to hire supervisors, and then, the supervisor's sick or has a holiday. There's going to be gaps in this traditional type of, all right, welcome to the people who just joined. I'm sorry, we just missed you sitting in the waiting room. So we're just talking about the industrial manslaughter laws that have now been introduced to New South Wales, and I'll just continue on from here. Now, these penalties have been in place in other states of Australia for a while. For example, in Victoria in 2020, they introduced industrial manslaughter laws, and it was 25 years imprisonment and $18 million fine for companies. Now, this is absolutely life-changing for the person's family who actually, passed away, but then the aftermath for a business owner of trying to navigate what that feels like and how to deal with that emotionally, financially, and also run a business that takes all of your energy while dealing with something like this. The reason I know that is I've been through something very similar, and it was a 10-year experience that absolutely taught me some of the hardest lessons that I've been through in business. And what I'm setting out to do now with video, and why Jen, Chuck, and Corey are on the call, is because we all believe that there can be smoother, more friction-free workplaces with better communication, and not done in the traditional sense of having to hire supervisors, managers, and put people in rooms where at the moment it is absolutely critical that human hours are making money. So we've started pretty heavy with this webinar, but I wanted to kind of tee that up to say that this is a very, very serious conversation. Now, we can lighten it up a little bit, and you can put your hand up if you have never had to repeat yourself in your business. Now, I would assume, I can't see the whole room, but I would assume no hands have been up, because the common feeling of having to repeat yourself is absolutely the Achilles heels of most business owners. Now, when I learned this, I want to share this with you because it just blew my socks off. How much trainees forget after a learning session? So traditionally, we grab people, we put them in a room, someone stands up the front, and verbal diarrhea is a heap of information about what's going on. Let's say everyone in that room heard 100% of what you said or understood. The next day, they only have 34% of what you said left in their head. Now, this is what we're up against. And this is another fact for why video is so powerful. Because you could say that your talk is almost rendered useless if you're going to do it face to face. It's very close. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating to remove all human consultation, because it needs to be there. But what I am saying is consider that there could be a blend of face to face backed up by video. And what we're seeing is, there's some really amazing stats that you're going to learn shortly. So let's just say, if you have poor training in your business, or training that's not suited to your staff, you may think your training or the training that's being provided is amazing. But just for example, if they're documents and your staff dislike reading, or they don't have enough time to read them, combine that with possible some poor attitudes of staff or some new staff, it's a pretty bleak outlook. And I don't want to see a show of hands, but I would assume that that is a common theme across businesses, and it's not in every business. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every business, but there is a lot of pressure at the moment. So what we're here to do today is talk about how to use video to take the pressure off needing to be everywhere. Because we know that job stats are the highest they've ever been in all time. Work attitudes seem to be diminishing. Again, what I feel, if you feel something different, I'd like to hear, but we know accidents have spiked because it feels like there's more pressure on, there's more staff turnover, so there's less training, there's less skills, and now that is resulting directly in accidents. The ocean of employees, all your skilled guys seem to leave over the last 2 years in this great big vacuum called COVID. And business owners are now left questioning. So I was going to give you 3 quick stories. I spoke with a woman recently who owns a pack and send. She'd owned a delivery store for 27 years. And she said to me, Luke, I'm selling my business because I can't continue to tell people how to use a pair of scissors, or how to pack the boxes properly, or when they are finished a job, they don't go on their phone, they go back to the next job. Now, again, these are stories I hear regularly, but not to everyone. I heard another HR claim, another business owner said to me, he feels like HR claims are going through the roof and he can't do anything about it. He's in a position where he just needs to pay more so he can get the work done and deal with the attitudes. So the business owner was saying, I just need to keep my mouth shut and do whatever I'm told. And that is a very different environment to what it was 5, 10 years ago. I heard of a cleaning company last week who one of their staff took a piece of fruit from a client's home. Now, that may seem like a very small thing, but why does that business owner have to remind people that it's not okay to take something from a client's house? Now, that small action that could result in a massive contract loss. A 1-star rating on Google, like that could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars of business in the next couple of years. So these things need to be, I believe they need to be nipped in the butt. And if we keep doing them through face-to-face toolbox talks and possibly not covering all of these things we need to talk about, we're going to have gaps. So again, put your hands up if you're not experiencing any pain, stress, or burnout right now. I can't see the room again, Jen. Can you see any hands? Okay, Dave, he works for Multiply Me, so he's not experiencing any burnout. Thanks, Dave. And again, look, I don't want to say all businesses are in this situation, but I think we have to admit there is a general groan from the industry. So who knows if their team also feels that they might be experiencing stress to meet their new environment. I spoke with a business only a couple of days ago who said our staff are asking for overtime, but they can't pay overtime. But he said they want overtime because they need to meet their new mortgage or rent obligations and pay for food, because the normal 40 hours a week are just not adding up. So this is causing stress on staff. Now, the reason I say that is the 10 common causes of workplace injuries. This is a blog out of HR Future magazine. 80 to 90% of all workplace accidents are caused by human error, and the likelihood of these injuries increases when workers are stressed or fatigued. Now, all I'm doing is putting this information together and reading between the lines. What's happening in the industry right now? Stress, burnout, fatigue, and unskilled workforce, which makes me feel like that is the reason for the spike in accidents, the spike in business owners having to come back onto the floor and, possibly say no to work, and things that they've built over the last 5 and 10 years are starting to fall away. So I'll leave it there because that's kind of the picture that we're painting. And now I want to come over to Jen. So I'm going to stop this page here. Can I just get a show of hands? Does everybody feel like that is, a similar environment to what they see and feel at the moment? Yeah, okay. That's good. So I haven't been banging on for 15 minutes about nothing. That's good to know. So, Jen, I want to introduce you now. I do just need to get that page back so I can see. Cool. So firstly, we're going to start with Jen. I'm going to get Jen to just let us know what she does and why, and we'll try and spend about 5 minutes with each person. So Jen, open your microphone there, and I'll just give you a quick intro. I've met Jen through LinkedIn actually, and I've seen that she was helping people show up on camera with more confidence, and I thought that's a great relationship we need to build. I reached out to Jen, and then immediately she was on the next filming site that we did with a big customer, and Jen was there to support the people on the that were presenting, and she immediately added value. So we will be doing a lot more collaboration with Jen. But Jen, tell us what you do quickly and why do you do it?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Luke. And can I say it's so great having so many business owners here today, because it really shows that you do care about your people. So well done for being here. I'm Jen T. Everyone calls me Jen T, and I'm a video coach. Now, 75% of the population have a fear of public speaking, and from working in this space for such a long time, I actually think it's even more than that when it comes to getting in front of the camera. And I know firsthand what it was like, because I used to be absolutely petrified of presenting on stage or presenting to camera, to the point where one day I was asked to speak on stage. Halfway through, got into such a panic that I just walked off the presentation. And then I decided to do something about my biggest fear, and I went and started studying public speaking. And what I didn't realize was public speaking is a learnt skill. But then with working in the public speaking training arena, what I recognize is it's very different presenting on stage to presenting on camera. The fear is different, the hesitation's different, and the strategy is different. Another little fun fact about me is I do not retain information from reading. And so being in a workplace, reading policies and procedure manuals and things like that, I couldn't actually retain the information. And so looking at the real differences with the learning styles and studying a lot around the psychology of how people buy, how people engage, and how people connect, I really created this program called the Success Method to help people be able to show up with confidence and authenticity in front of the camera. And now I go into businesses and help them with their strategy, with their planning, and then also with their presentation skills so that they can really engage with their teams and potential clients and potential employees.
Very good, very good. Tell me, what's the one thing that you love the most about what you do? You know, I mean, you've told me a few times, but when you're working with people, what happens?
It's the transformation. You can feel it and you can see it. With being in front of the camera zaps out a lot of your energy, and when you can feel the energy of someone when they're speaking, and it's such an amazing thing. So seeing people going from, I had a client a little while ago and getting on a one-on-one Zoom session just to have a chat with me. He was too nervous to even turn his camera on, and he's now posting reels and TikToks and all sorts of crazy things. So seeing that transformation in him is just phenomenal.
That's nice. Awesome. All right. So we'll jump. Thank you for sharing, Jen. We'll jump straight. So reach out to Jen after this. She's going to put her details in the chat if anyone is struggling with these particular things, or you would just like to show up better on camera. She's an absolute amazing woman at what you do. But you do have a couple of facts that I'd like you to share about video training, and this will kind of add weight to what you see and what you know. What happens when people introduce video into their business, more in the training sense, not social media, but more in the training side?
Yeah, in the training side, it's amazing, especially with more millennials and Gen Z. They've been doing a lot of study around what they need to stay in a job, and the expected life of an employee has like less than quartered, which is quite concerning for a business owner, because you've got to keep retraining, which is costing you time and money over and over and over again. So with video, once you've got them all done, they are done, ready for new employees. So everyone's on the same page, and it really creates a consistency. So some of the new stats that have come out, I'm going to read some of these. That we've got Gallup companies that are 17% more productive and 21% more profitable when they offer training to engage employees. 21% more profitable. I think that's absolutely amazing. And training videos can increase retention by up to 50%. And that's from TechSmith. The video is processed by the brain 60,000 times faster than reading. 60,000 times faster. Like, it's just absolutely phenomenal. The statistics that all back up the power of communicating through video. One of my big things, though, is people get to feel you, they get to see you, so they feel like they're still engaging with you, they're still getting to know your personality, and it creates that sense of connection to a culture and also a brand. I did have another one in here. Employees are 75% more likely to watch a video than to read a document.
Yeah,
75%. That's insane, isn't it, Luke?
It is. But look, it's exactly what I've experienced in my life too. I'm not a strong reader. So, I mean, everything's scanned. Like, you can send an email to someone these days and they come back with something completely different to what you said. You're like, did you read my email or just scan? Yeah. So we know no one's reading. And the sooner we get away from document-based systems to having a blend, I think that businesses will see that 21% increase straight to their bottom line. So that's amazing, Jen. Thank you very much for adding that. I really appreciate you coming in today and letting the guys know who you are and those powerful stats. So thank you.
Very welcome.
Awesome. So we'll keep these moving through. So Chuck, I'll get you to put your speaker on, please, my friend. Now, Chuck, also I met from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an absolute goldmine if you want to meet amazing professionals and then, start a relationship there. So Chuck, I want to give you a little bit of background on him, something that I'm very impressed with. He tells me it's from a different life. But Chuck has actually worked in Pentagon, and he's worked on a massive national NBN rollout where he was in charge of, I don't know how many people, but I do believe it was thousands of nurturing their mental health. Is that
10,000,
right?
yeah.
10,000. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's huge. Now, Chuck is our, sorry, just let one more in there. Chuck has a strong background in psychological safety. So I want to just ask you quickly, Chuck, in a minute or two, could you tell us a little bit more about your business, what you do, and why?
Sure, yeah. So the company is called Living to Thrive. We've been around for about 2 years, and essentially what we do is we provide mental health and well-being training for organizations, and that could be anything from stress management, building resilience, self-care, building empathy, positivity, and so on. It's all evidence-based, and a lot of what I do when I go into an organization or when we do it remote is to share my personal experiences. And for me, someone who deals with anxiety and depression and ADHD, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to go to work and have a difficult time because your mind just isn't working well. And I've tried so many different avenues to try and make myself have a healthier person. And everything I talk about are things that I've done myself. Just all lived experience. And I find that that's a really great way to connect with the audience a bit more authentically. Some of the stuff we do is one-off trainings, whether it be for an hour or a full day. We do leadership training for a full day. We also do bespoke programs lasting anywhere from 1 week to 12 months, and that could be designed based off the organization's needs. And then we also do online training, and I will be doing a free webinar on the 12th of December for values-based self-care, and I'll put a link inside the chat so people can look at that and sign up if they want to.
Awesome. Thank you,
And
Chuck.
the why is because a bit like Jen, you get to see people grow. You get to impact people on a meaningful level because it's not just about giving them information, it's about making them a healthier, happier, more vibrant person. And you can do that in many ways. And for me, it's just through mental health.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you just tell us quickly, in trying to keep it under a minute, what is psychological safety? What
Sure.
is it?
Yeah, so psych safety itself was first coined by Harvard professor Amy Edmondson back in '99. She was doing some research on teaming, and her paper was called Psychological Safety and Learning Behavior in Work Teams. And essentially, what that means is members feel comfortable, as in team members feel comfortable in making interpersonal risk. And that means sharing ideas, asking questions, having concerns, mistakes without fear of negative consequences. Essentially, you can go to work, be your authentic self, and say, I don't know what the answer is, and feel comfortable with doing that because you're not going to be judged by others.
Okay, that's a great breakdown. Okay, so something I wanted to ask you, Chuck. You've been around Multiply Me for a little while. Something that we've been working on is creating a system that we call Knowledge Boost. And that is on the Multiply Me platform. We have now created hundreds and hundreds of short talks between 30 and 60 seconds that address everything from mental health to ladder safety, team camaraderie, cleaning up your workspace. But we are now sharing these videos. So members who come onto the Multiply Me platform, they get access to all these videos, and then we can schedule those videos into a group of people and send one or two positive daily reminders to staff every morning before they start work. Now, what we're seeing is that impact is that the staff are getting daily support about things that possibly the business may not have time to talk about or don't even consider, haven't even got it in their toolkit to talk about. So could you see something like that, that type of system implementing into a business to just help businesses that are struggling to get in front of everyone and talk about all these particular, psychological safety support? Could you see a video system playing into that arena?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think looking at mental health, if you're able to give an employee some positive emotions starting at the beginning of the day, some kind of encouragement, something that they're going through. There is a sociologist named Barbara Fredrickson at University of North Carolina, and she has a theory it's called broaden and build, and she talks all about how positive emotions can help us actually be a stronger, more resilient person. It allows you to see the big picture. It allows you to see more options in front of you versus focusing just on the negative. And if you're interested in learning more about that, I highly suggest you look at it. It's called Broaden and Build Theory by Barbara Fredrickson.
Broaden and build theory, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I haven't seen that one yet. Okay, that's so just quickly, I do need to jump over to Corey because I want to be conscious of everyone's time. But let's say you were managing 10,000 people in this NBN rollout. Could you have seen Multiply Me platform and the way we send a couple of positive talks to every staff member across a remote community of 10,000 people making a difference?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing but benefit in that. I mean, as long as you pace yourself with the videos that you send out,
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chuck. All right, reach out to Chuck if you would like to improve the psychological safety of your team. And I recommend Chuck. I've been dealing with him for quite a while now. I really value your friendship, Chuck. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
No worries. All right, we will move on to Corey. Corey, could you please put your speaker on
Yep.
so I can see you pop up?
Hey
There
there.
he is. I will firstly want to thank Corey. You are an extremely busy man, and I know that you're doing this from the car because you're in transit. So thank you very much for giving us your time and also supporting Multiply Me. I think I know Corey wasn't from LinkedIn. I met him through a mutual friend. Corey is also using the Multiply Me platform to onboard and train staff. So we know that Corey is a huge advocate for video. Corey, could you just tell us a little bit more about why you think video has a place in business?
Yeah, thanks everyone. The thing that we really love about the video and the Multiply Me platform is the logging that happens and ensuring that employees can actually log in and watch videos and then answer questions about them to show they've understood the video, and then give feedback. So that's part of this duty to consult, which you outlined at the start of the webinar. So Section 47 and 48 of the Workplace Health and Safety Act in Queensland, New South Wales are the same. And it's, as you said, it's getting codified throughout the country with industrial manslaughter as well. So lawyers are always going to say to their clients where there is an incident or something significant happens, show us the evidence of what you've done in your business to ensure you've complied with that duty. And that goes to things like registers of attendance at meetings and things like that. And those things are difficult to manage at the best of times, even if you are doing it proactively. And as you said, people aren't always paying attention. They're not always actually engaged and getting involved in those toolbox meetings and things like that. So a big part of this platform that we really love is that logging all just happens as part of the system. So that can be extracted and then provided by way of evidence to a workplace investigation, or to defend a case, or to an insurer or something like that. And we're seeing a really huge spike in workplace health and safety investigations. So it's almost now to the point where workplace commissioners in each state, if there is an incident, and it can be something like an electrocution or an injury that doesn't have to be fatal, it can be just a serious injury, that they are taking it upon themselves to prosecute 100% of the time.
Wow.
And they see it as their duty as the safety commissioner and to protect workers, that they have to prosecute on all occasions if there's something significant. So previously they would go through a process of investigation and to identify if someone was doing the best and doing their best and having a safe workplace, but that's not enough anymore.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, that actually amazes me. I didn't know that it's ramped up that much, but I would say, this may be speculating, but is that action because seals are down, all the things that we talked about during the start of the webinar, is that accidents are spiking, so they need to just come down hard on that. There's no gaps anymore.
Yeah. I think it's the combination of everything that you've been talking about in this webinar, and there's, I guess, safety. If there's unions involved, then it's always very well managed. But we find there's the non-union workforces where safety just doesn't have that high priority that it needs to.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I'll ask you the same question. You know a little bit about the Multiply Me system. You've been using it. If somebody was to have a particular accident and you just want people to be able to provide as much evidence as they can. That's really what you're looking for in a business if you were put in a situation.
Yeah, that's right. We want to see those logs. We want to see the compulsory viewing of these videos so that people are doing their job and doing it safely and receiving that information.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing, Corey. Now, we'll just lighten that there. We know that it's a very serious business when it comes to somebody knocking on your door, but can you tell us a little bit about Radcliffs Lawyers and what you guys do there? What do you specialize in?
Yeah, so we're a corporate and business firm on the Gold Coast. It's easy to say what I don't do, so I don't do family law, criminal law, and injury law, but we do everything else. So a lot of business compliance, we do a lot of corporate governance, we do a lot of structuring, but we are seeing a really huge increase in this sort of regulatory compliance work.
Yeah. Okay. Can you give me any indication what industry this is coming from? Is it like labor workforces or professional services or everywhere?
It's going across the board. It's obviously the high labor intensive companies, so it doesn't have to be construction. We have other clients that have got high labor force where safety is just really becoming one of the top three sort of board topics that we see now.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. Thank you, Corey. I really appreciate your time today, mate. I know that you're busting to get off to the next meeting, so thank you. I will catch up with you in the future. If you need to roll, that's
Thank
fine.
you, everyone. I do, yeah. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. But yeah, pass on any questions or comments through to Luke, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks,
I'll get your details across to everyone that's here today as well, Corey. So thanks so much, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we've just gone over time a little bit there. I always want to be respectful of everybody's time. So there was no sales pitches, no nothing here today. All I wanted to do was raise the awareness that what we're all feeling is felt by a lot of businesses. We're all in this at the same time, but there is some very simple solutions that you can do to save time, save money, put more on your bottom line. And we're coming into Christmas now, so I think a lot of people are just holding their breath and getting there to the 21st or the 22nd of December. But this month is a really good time to reach out to either all of us or one of us and see what could be done differently for next year. Obviously, the Multiply Me platform is there to facilitate this type of regular training and position your business much better. And it's not only, look, Corey's talking about what happens if it gets to, that protective layer where you need to actually protect your business. But by implementing something that's got more communication, you're showing up in more places, you will knock out a lot of the issues that are going to come your way in 24. So by having a proactive approach, using video, we see it day in, day out that it's making a big impact in a lot of businesses. I'll just finish off with two stories. There's two customers that we have over the last 3 weeks have told me that one was they spotted an employee doing something was very dangerous, and they were able to address that very quickly by saying, pull up here, let's go back to the video and watch it. The employee actually said, that's the way you showed me in the video, which was a bit of a lie, because once they watched the video, they ended that conversation right there and then, and they said, please come back to the video and watch that. So it wasn't, if they didn't have the video, it becomes you said, I said, and it becomes a big issue of who's right. The other story was we had We had another business who had a work experience person in from a school, and they were injured on the first day. Now, the family got involved and said, "How dare our our daughter be injured at work?" And they showed what the onboarding process was like, and then they showed them the Multiply Me account and said, "Your daughter watched all of these videos, and clearly she's put herself in the wrong place." So that ended. The family said, "We're sorry, we understand. You're doing so much more than we could ever expected," and that was the end of it. So the power of this is massive, and that's. I'll end on that note because I said it's not in a sales pitch or anything like that. So thank you for your time, guys. We've gone 8 minutes over time, but thank you for listening, and we will follow you all up with a phone call. Dave, who's on the call, he will give you a call over the next week or two and see if there's anything that you would like to know further, or make an introduction to Corey, Jen, or Chuck. Thank you, guys. If you actually, is there any questions? I know there's a few people on there. Is there any questions? I can open up if you want to stick around. I'm happy to chat for a little while.
I've just got a quick comment for you. I think it was
yeah,
a very, very good presentation. I love that there's various professionals that are coming on and taking it from that angle and how it relates to their profession. So overall, you get a very good understanding of how this will help businesses and how it will help employees, both in terms of protecting them and in terms of preventing, lawsuits, so on and so forth. So well done to you.
Thank you, man. Can I just ask you a question while you're there? You have started your YouTube channel. You're an accountant. You've started a YouTube channel. You're dishing out training. You're dishing out tips. What have you seen video do to your business?
Video helps to educate. People can always go back to video at whatever time they need and pick up where they left off. So they can always go back and reinforce their training. They find, as Jen mentioned, when you do the video yourself, they feel like you are right there amongst them, giving them the education. So they feel your energy, they feel your passion. They see that you care, that you just, instead of maybe handballing a manual to someone to create, they see that you've spent the time. And something that recently happened to me is the team members have sent me a message saying, "We really appreciate that you send us videos." Depending on what you do, whether it's YouTube or whatever, but the beauty about your system, Luke, is that you've got that log, right? So people can't say, "I didn't watch it." It makes them accountable. So it maintains a safe workspace, so on and so forth. So video is very powerful.
Yeah, thanks, Mina. You've probably hit the nail right on the head there, and that's what people say to me sometimes is, why do we need Multiply Me when we can use YouTube and Google Drive and Dropbox and just manufacture something ourselves? And it is exactly that, is that Multiply Me tracks every video view and gets a sign off. And that's where the whole power in the entire system is that we need to create that accountability. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for attending. Appreciate your time. Have a safe run into Christmas, and we'll be reaching out to you over the next couple of weeks. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Well, guys.
Thanks, Luke.
See ya.
Hey, Simon. How are you, mate? Thank you.
See you guys.